Greetings, fellow horror fans. Well, our look at Hellraiser series now continues on with Hellraiser Hellseeker. So here we go. Trevor Gooden survives a car accident and apparently kills his wife, Christy Cotton, when the car plunged off a bridge into the river below. Trevor manages to escape with his life, but even though police divers find both Carters open, there is no sign of Kirsty. 1 month later, Trevor wakes up in a hospital and realizes that his wife is missing, but because of head injury, his memory is uncertain and he cannot distinguish between fantasy and reality. Trevor finds himself the prime suspect in a murder case and has numerous encounters with homicide detectives Gibbons and Lang. The two detectives never appear to be together at the same place. Many strange events befall him, including experiencing various hallucinations and several important events turning out to be just figments of Trevor's imagination. Trevor also witnesses his best friend Brett commit suicide. Eventually, Trevor is summoned to the police station and taken to the basement by Detective Lang in order to identify a body. There is revealed that Gibbons and Lang are actually a single monstrous creature with two different heads. Trevor runs away from them and enters a morgue. Just as he's about to uncover a dead body on an operating table, the Cenobite Pinhead appears and reveals the truth to Trevor. In reality, Kirsty is in fact still alive. Trevor cheated on his wife with many other women and tried to get rid of Christy by making her reopen the lament configuration. She did, but before being taken away forever, she made one last deal with Pinhead. She offered to give him 5 souls in exchange for hers. She killed 3 of Trevor's mistresses and his best friend Brett, who was aspiring to kill her for a fortune. Trevor is in shock by the revelation and takes the covers off the body on the operating table, believing it to be Kirsty. The person on the table is not Kirsty, but it is in fact him. He is the 5th soul, and this entire time he has been living in hell. He has been in hell, living in limbo. Trying to rediscover his past and piece his life back together was his punishment for his disloyalty to his wife and his inability to accept who he truly was. It seems that she has pinned all of the murders on Trevor and shot Trevor through the head while he was driving, leading him to crash the car into the river and making his death appear as a suicide. The film ends with Kirsty walking away from the car crash scene with the lament configuration in her hand. Dun dun dun. So now let's take a look at the production of this movie. Writer Michael Lent gained attention for a spec script he had written and was invited by the Weinstein brothers to pitch on the 5th installment of the Hellraiser franchise. Lent's story, The Hellseeker, began with a fire at a remote radio station turned hacker laboratory. There are at least one survivor, a severely burned John Doe, later named Miller Rex. A game designer named Blink is also missing. Rex does not remember who he is, as he slowly recovers from his injuries. A fragment of Cenobite claw embedded in his body, causing him to be haunted by horrific images as his memories are gradually restored. Rick's sense of his own identity, preserved by the police and the Cenobites. He has a chance to be a new person or be caught by his past and the literal demons who seek to claim him. Blink returns and tells Miller about the Hellraiser game they had hacked into and his plan to release it globally. The script ran through many drafts, and Doug Aronofsky sorry if I mispronounced that, was brought in as director, but he left to direct Highlander Endgame. Some executives connected to the project in Miramax/Dimension have been fired, and the project was pushed back from 5th to potentially the 6th Hellraiser film. Lentz completed his obligations and offered to work something out if further drafts were needed, but the project went silent. The next thing Lent heard about it was that a film titled Hellseeker was filming in Canada. Although the two projects had some similarities, the film was eventually produced was very different from what Lent had written. Quote, "Everything that happens after the first 8 or 10 minutes was not anything I would have ever envisioned," end quote. After the relative success of Hellraiser Inferno in 2000, Dimension Films hired Carl Reed Dupree and Tim Day to write a sequel. Eric Boda directed. At Boda's suggestion, the script was rewritten to include the first film's protagonist Christy Cotton, who had been absent from the series since a cameo appearance in the 3rd film. Although it initially appeared Ashley Lawrence would not be able to reprise the role, Doug Bradley informed her of the film and she agreed to return. The film's original climax, written by Bradley, was ultimately edited out of the film. That's interesting. So overall, I think this entry in this series is kind of interesting, and I also like the fact that they brought back the antagonist from the first two films. So, yeah. So overall, I give Hellraiser Hellseeker 4 element configurations out of 5. But anyway, 2 more as we take a look at the next film in the series, Hellraiser Deader. So until then, remember everyone, whatever you do, don't fall asleep.